Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got a little bit different video today. I want to talk about the pecan orchard that I have out here. I've had this orchard for about 15 years. I think the trees are almost 30 years old or so. And previous videos on my channel, you can see me, fertilizing these trees and harvesting them and things. And it's a pretty fun hobby, I guess you'd have. It's probably a little bit of a side business, but it doesn't make a whole lot of money. I have about 100 Sumner variety pecan trees out here, and they're grafted trees, so they're I guess a little bit of your nicer variety trees than just kind of your standard pecan tree you'd find in the woods or something. But we've had these trees a while, and it costs a lot of time and money and effort to get these things to produce. I always make the joke with my wife. I was like, I'm not sure how pecan trees survived before humans. So because I'm always having to water them during the summer months every other day, about 4 or 5 hours a day. I have a sprinkler system at every one of the trees, and then I also fertilize them twice a year. I have a guy that comes like late spring through the summer, and he sprays maybe once a month, maybe a little more often than that. Sprays to kill the aphids and to get some of the fungus off of the leaves and things like that. Because what you're trying to do is make these leaves stay on the tree longer, and so that they can send the nutrients to the pecan, and then it can make a nice big pecan, and you can pick it in the late fall. However, this year my spray guy decided not to do it anymore, and so it kind of left me with no option. I really couldn't spray them because it's a federal license, I believe you need to have it, and it's a you need a covered tractor with a big blower and to get all the chemical up in the tree. It's kind of a lot of work and not really enough. I don't have enough trees for me to get into that business. So so this year I decided to do nothing, and my trees kind of suffered for it because you can tell that the leaves are already kind of falling off. It's early September, and I got a lot of leaves on the ground. If you can see here, it's way too early for them to be falling this much, and I don't really have any pecans on the trees. They're usually here on the end of the tree, and there's nothing. I had some earlier, but they just they just kind of shriveled up, fell off. So I just left it onto its own accord, and nothing really, no plans to really harvest anything because I knew it was kind of falling apart. But then I'm coming to this, call it a seedling tree, or it's just like a no-name brand pecan tree. And this tree is a previous grafted tree, but it had some storm damage, and it broke off. I believe that's what happened, and then it came up from the root again. So this is the root stock of that grafted tree, not the grafted portion itself. So this is just kind of like a local seedling tree is what we call it. And I did nothing again, but you can tell it is loaded with pecans. So you've got some pecans here on this branch that's almost touching the ground. It's got some deer damage eating the leaves, but you can see it's just loaded with nuts, and I did nothing to it. And it made me start to think, like, do we really need to be doing all this fertilizing and spray and watering and all that stuff? It just takes a lot of money and time and just resources to pump into these grafted trees just so they can make a nut that's bigger and the shell that's thinner. I don't think they taste any different, but it's just easier to get into, and they're bigger. So it just, I don't know, to me it just seems like a huge resource strain to just pump it into these trees, just pumping full of this fertilizer and spray and all that, when I could do zero work for these trees. And I mean, look at the leaves are nice and green still, like everything looks good, and it took no input from me, and then I'm going to harvest these in the fall, and I'll have enough for just my family. But it just made me think, like, what are we doing? Do we do this on all the crops across the country? I have I'm a very novice, not even really a farmer, but it just got me thinking, you probably need it for, corn and other like kind of seasonal crops, but for trees like this, do we really need to be I don't know, it just got me thinking. It just, if you guys have a pecan orchard or much more experienced farmers than me, just explain the reason for some of this. I mean, I understand some of the basic, you know, like corn or something like that. You're going to need to pump it with fertilizer because it won't make corn at all. But, you know, is there a different variety of nut tree or something that's out there that's maybe not quite so pretty of a crop, or it's not as large, but if you did zero, you would still, you know, produce? I don't know, just got me thinking. So if you would just comment below, just you know, trying to see what kind of insights you all have on it. So anyway, appreciate you sticking around for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.